there's no time of year like Thanksgiving to discover that all the laws of economics don't apply. Supermarkets, at whatever point they price their turkeys, and I'm talking especially about frozen turkeys here, supermarkets will discount them deeply to get customers in to buy all of their holiday groceries there in the supermarket. And what I mean by that is we've seen something here in the Washington D.C. area. One store is getting discounted to 29 cents a pound. I've seen them 49 cents, other places 69 cents. One chain up here, I think if you bought $400 worth of groceries, they would give you the turkey for free. So, and that's primarily with frozen birds. Prices, wholesale prices and retail prices track a little more closely with fresh turkeys. Mm-hmm. And those, you have seen the prices down a bit from last year. There was a disease that ran through the industry last year, highly pathogenic avian influenza. Probably you all did some reporting on it at one time or another, given the industry down there. And that drove prices up a little bit. Almost 10 million turkeys were lost to the disease last year. The outbreak hasn't gone completely away, but far fewer losses in 2023, and whole turkey pricing, the wholesale pricing, began to drop back in the latter part of the spring, and have continued to decline a bit since. It's almost too late. If you put it in the refrigerator today, a frozen turkey, you should be okay by Thursday. We usually say to allow 2 to 3 days for a typical frozen turkey to thaw, and it is always better to thaw in the refrigerator than to try to leave it on the countertop or put it in water in the sink or whatever. Things that we've seen a lot now is, for a number of years, you had a new cooking method that got hot for a certain period of time. Deep frying was big a little more than a decade ago, maybe 13, 14 years ago. Brining then took on and was hot. Some people then began to spatchcock the turkey, split it in half, and do it on the grill. And all of these things are great, but I have seen a number of articles this year that suggest that there's not so much a new trend as much as now you have good-natured arguments between folks about which is actually the best way to do it. So we've got a lot of methods out there that have had their moment in the sun, and now they're all being used to some extent or another, and neighbors can debate which is the best. The only firm stance we have is whatever method you choose, put a meat thermometer into the deepest part of the breast or thigh and make sure it is cooked internally to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. As long as you do that, you've picked a great method to cook your turkey. This year, we don't know yet because the year's not done, but probably 220 million turkeys, maybe roughly, possibly a little bit less.
Wow.
That produces more than 5.5 billion, with a B, pounds of ready to cook turkey meat. While the holidays are still important, probably at least a quarter or maybe even a little more than that of turkey will be consumed off a whole bird in the fourth quarter of the year. But it's got more of a year-round flavor. I mean, most of the rest is spread across the year. Deli meats, of course, are huge, but ground turkey has taken off in a big way. And we're seeing people getting more interested in cuts like turkey cutlets and so forth. So there's a much bigger diversity of products that are available. And we actually even have a fairly robust export market. We export not quite 10% of what we produce at this point. And that's Mexico's our biggest market, but we also have customers in Asia and the Middle East and all over. Central and South America has begun to get some traction too.